When I was a child, I was about 6 years old, and I remember being sick all the time. My eyes would burn. I would get sort of a sore throat all the time. I was just kind of very sickly and tired. And that's really unusual for a 6-year-old. And my mom, who she was so busy, she ran her own business, and she was just so busy all the time that she ran herself ragged. And her MD put her on for 6 months, put her on antibiotics because she wanted to kick this cold, and probably viral because she didn't get better. So she developed candida, and candida is this overgrowth of basically bad bugs in the gut. When we take antibiotics, it kills all the good bugs in the gut that keep our body in alignment. Just so you know, we have 37.5 trillion cells in our body, and we have even more bacteria. There's more bacteria in us than we have cells, and so we need to keep a healthy gut. Well, my mom got sick and I was sick. And then my mom found a naturopathic physician. And that was the day that my life changed forever. I remember going to him and he looked in my eyes. He looked in my ears. He took all my vitals. He took my blood. He told me I was O blood type. And up to this point, it seemed sort of like any doctor experience, right? It seemed like an MD because he was basically examining me. But then he said these words, and all of a sudden, this wasn't like a regular doctor's visit that I had ever experienced. He said, okay, well, you're allergic to milk, yeast, wheat, and sugar. You need to stay away from all of them, and you're going to take these supplements, and you're going to eat this new way. And I look at him like he has 5 heads, and I'm 6 years old, right? And I say to him, well, when's the next time I get a chocolate bar? Because he told me I can't, basically all the ingredients in a chocolate bar. And he said, well, once in a blue moon. And I was happy because I thought a blue moon was every month. but I soon found out that was not the case. So overnight, my mom threw out all the junk food in the house, and we went like total granola. We started eating a whole foods diet. And this is back in the early 80s. I just remember we went soy milk instead of regular milk. And back then, soy milk was healthier than it is now because it's not GMO. But yeah, I grew up not eating any candy and taking supplements and just eating really healthy whole foods. So they're, basically one ingredient foods. There's a piece of broccoli, there's a piece of, kale, there's a chicken breast, there's some brown rice. And so it's one ingredient foods. I grew up like that and it was amazing. I felt totally deprived. My friends all got to eat Nutella sandwiches on Wonder white bread, and that's all I wanted. And my mom said to me, if you eat that way, you're gonna, be really sick when you're in your 30s. And so that's all I wanted because I was a kid. But from age 6 all the way to age 13, I didn't get sick once. And I was so full of energy and I was so healthy. And my mom was healthy too. We all got healthy together. And then something happened when I was 13 and I completely rebelled emotionally. Like I was just like, I'm done with this. And so I started to eat all kinds of junk food. And I was going to a school with a cafeteria and I started to eat fries. That's a problem with restricting children too much. Even though I loved being healthy, I mean, all I wanted to do was rebel and be like my friends. And so I stopped taking the supplements. I stopped eating healthy. And my health deteriorated. Now, I was very physically active. And even though I was exercising a lot and doing lots of physical activities, I started gaining weight. And then I lost my menstrual cycle, which I had just gotten. And I started gaining weight and everything started to sort of slowly come crashing down. My mom passed away when I was in my early 20s. And that coupled with depression, coupled with now this bad behaviors I had developed around eating, my weight started to go in a positive direction. And every year I was gaining more and more weight, and I started to develop diabetes, high blood pressure, you name it. And at this point, I'm now going, okay, wait, I need to stop something, right? So I started to eat what I thought was healthy, right? What the standard American diet sort of dictates. Oh, well, I got to eat whole wheat bread because that's healthy. And I should eat lots and lots and lots and lots of whole wheat bread and milk. I got to drink lots of milk because they say that's healthy. So I was doing everything I was sort of still avoiding what my mom told me was healthy and what the naturopathic doctor told me I was healthy when I was 6 years old, because I was still, I guess, unconsciously rebelling, but I was going to eat what everyone else said was healthy. So mainstream health dictates that low fat diet, lots of whole wheat, and lots of milk. And so of course I started gaining weight more, and because that's not the healthy way to eat. And the thing with eating healthy is that it's a little bit different for everyone. We are not, all the same. We need to dial in what's healthy for us. And that's the key to this. So in my 30s, I was really sick of being sick. I was so exhausted all the time. And because of chronic adrenal fatigue, I was getting infections constantly. I had problems falling asleep, and then I had problems waking up. I mean, it was ridiculous. I felt like I was, 100 years old, and I was in my 30s. And, I was very depressed about that. But continuously, because I was so interested in how to heal emotionally, I was constantly having to work on that too. And then I met my husband, and we both made this conscious effort to start really, really, really exploring what we could do to shift our health. And thank God for the internet, because we started looking and we started seeing, what was out there, and experimenting with, for example, organic. We saw a documentary where the CEO of Whole Foods was sharing sort of his mission statement, and it really inspired us. And eat with, or vote with your fork. So if you believe that we should support organic farmers, because there's something like only 4% of the soil left in America is organic. So we need to support our organic farmers. If you believe in that, then buy organic, right? So vote with your fork. And we were so inspired by that we said, okay, we're going to go organic. And this was back in 2008. What I know is just going organic. Like, we started shopping the perimeter of the store. We tried to eat less processed foods, but we were still eating sugar. We were still eating a bunch of bad stuff. And, but we did a bit more vegetables and a lot more organic. And I stopped getting sick. I stopped getting the weekly infections that I was getting. And I thought, wow, okay, we made one change and look, this is great. But I still felt horrible. And so we kept seeking and seeking answers. And that's when we really stumbled upon naturopathic medicine and taking all the nutrition in the body and how to support digestion. And every time we made a change and we saw positive results, we just kind of kept doing that behavior. And we experimented with going gluten-free. And after 5 days of being gluten-free, we said we're never eating gluten again because we feel so good. We avoid dairy, and all of a sudden we feel good. And when we drink dairy, we feel bad. So we went, okay, that makes sense. We need to avoid it as much as possible. Now, it's okay, if we ate it once in a while. But I know if I go and have some dairy today, I'm not going to feel good tomorrow. And so I just need to be conscious of that and choose accordingly. Doesn't mean I'm deprived for the rest of my life. It just means that I just know what's going to happen. Likely tomorrow, I'm going to feel the effects of it. And just like people go and drink too much alcohol and they know they're not going to feel good the next day, they get to make that call, and so do I. And so what really shifted my life was taking responsibility and making one change at a time. It kind of seems overwhelming when I tell you to eat whole foods, don't eat anything packaged, right? You have to cook everything from scratch, and you have to exercise and drink water and get more sleep and take take your supplements, and all these habits that you have to kind of instill into your life. It just seems so overwhelming. But if you start with one thing and make one change at a time, and notice that changes effect on you, and just do one at a time, over time, it adds up big time. Just like the opposite. If you were to start to add a bad habit every week, today I'm going to pick up smoking, and next week I'm going to start eating lots of sugar, and the week after that I'm going to start gambling. If you added bad habits to your life would slowly deteriorate over time. And so it takes time for the body to slowly heal. I highly recommend just continually searching and exploring natural medicine and natural doctors. I've been to over 12 chiropractors in my life, and some of them I had to fire because they're great chiropractors, but they weren't for me. And so don't stick with someone, it's like a holistic health practitioner, just because you started working with them. If you're not getting results, and if you don't like working with them, move on. Just like your MD, you wouldn't stay with an MD that is like really bad and you're not getting results, right? So there are great doctors out there and there are mediocre doctors out there. You got to keep exploring and know that you're your own health advocate, and you're in charge of your health. And that's just so important, that these doctors are not an authority over you. They are supposed to be on your team. And if there's any doctor who acts like they know what's best for you and they talk down to you, you fire them. You absolutely fire them, and you go and find a doctor that does not talk down to you, that will sit there and take the time to explain things to you. And this is what I love about naturopathic medicine, is that when you see a naturopath, it's typically between 45 and 90-minute sessions. In the world of MDs, you get maybe 15 minutes, because that's just, insurance will only pay for 15 minutes, whereas insurance will pay for, excuse me, insurance will pay for the longer session with naturopathic doctors, because what naturopathic doctors do is they will take into account every aspect of your life. Now, naturopaths can prescribe drugs. They have all the education of an MD, but they also have all the knowledge of natural medicine and how to get to the root cause and how to help your body heal and how you can make lifestyle changes. So right now, naturopaths are only in about 18 states, and you want to make sure that if you're going to go see a naturopath, that they are actually licensed by the national board, because in certain states, someone can just call themselves a naturopath when they're not really. So you got to be careful about that. And you can do a lot of research online. With my podcast, Learn True Health, I have interviewed several naturopathic doctors, and they teach a lot of great health information. So I definitely recommend checking that out as well.
Hey Ashley, I've heard the terms naturopath and homeopathic. What is the difference between the two, if any, or are they both used interchangeably?
Hey Ashley, great for you. I'm so glad to hear you come out with this kind of thing. I'm totally into this kind of thing, and I find myself to be considered pretty weird in the world out here. Like if I start talking the way that you're talking, which I think is great, again, people just think I'm weird. I mean, they're like, oh my God, she's a health nut. She's a weirdo. She's a nut job. And, I laugh all the way to the bank, so to speak, and that's a metaphorical term there, because I feel amazing. And when I start to feel like crap, man, I'm back at the naturopath. I mean, whatever. And I go about, I don't know. Now I'm probably down to every 2 to 3 months. I just make a visit, and, if I'm not feeling well, I just got off of this cleanse and everything. I don't want to say too much on here openly because, again, I get a lot of crap. I get a lot of ostracization. I'm being ostracized is what I'm trying to say, and I'm not even sure if the other word was a word, but just because people think I'm so weird about it. But I feel amazing. I mean, I just can't believe it. And I was at the naturopath, and I said, how come I'm in here? No one else goes to the doctor every 2 to 3 months or whatever. And my visits aren't very expensive when I go there anyways, because they keep up on everything. Incidentally, for those of you who are listening to my weirdness. But she said the reason is because most people don't know what it's like to feel good. They really don't realize how bad they really feel and how good it is possible to experience in this life. And for me, I'm here to feel amazing, to experience joy and fun. And so for me, I will do whatever it takes. And when I start to feel bad, man, do I ever feel bad. I was in the store yesterday with another one of my freako weirdo friends in the holistic health store. And I said to her, I am starting to feel really, really good. And when I feel good, it's really hard to imagine feeling bad. And when I feel bad, that's all I want to do is get back to feeling amazing. So people can say whatever they want to say, but I feel awesome. And I'm getting better and better all the time. And the more I eat better and exercise and do the things that make me feel so amazing, the easier it becomes and the closer I am to it. It's like my system is starting to balance out. So, yay! And I totally eat organic. And while I'm not gluten intolerant or anything, when I do eat gluten, I feel bloated and horrible. My body starts to ache. I feel like I have the flu. I I don't know if the symptoms are exacerbated by just like being without it, and then you try it and then it affects you so strongly, and when you eat it every day it's not that big of a deal, or what. But man, it's a huge deal, people. It really, really is. And if you want to feel awesome, that's your goal in life, like mine, get into this kind of stuff. Start doing research, go online and do stuff, because this is really how we are intended to feel. And if I got to be on this planet for 90, 100 years or whatever, I want to feel great. And if I can't feel great, then you know what? I would just rather not be here. So thank you so much for sharing, Ashley. Awesome. Take care and feel great.